fetch his slippers for you?
Gee, would you, sir? I'd like that.
Look into my eye. Fall in, people.
Get away from her, you bitch!
You finished?
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor, someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with Private Frost himself, Rico Ross. Wow. Think about his name, Frost, in this movie, and the way he goes down. It's kind of ironic, and I wonder if they purposely did that. Of course, we talk Death Wish 3, him being a model all over Europe, and man, just the fact that he got Full Metal Jacket, and Kubrick just wouldn't let him do both. What a dick. What a dick. He could have been like the most legendary films all around each other. Death Wish 3, followed by Aliens, and man, it's so cool all the people I
and he would have done well in that role. I mean, you know, if he made it to the movie,
yeah.
I mean, holy cow.
Yeah, man. But it led us to speak of a sequel that's on the Mount Rushmore of sequels. Of course, I'm talking Aliens. And before we get into this, man, just legendary movie. Just watching it again after seeing it so many times, just like reminds me of how great it is. But I don't want to talk about it too much without introducing my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. You know, it was great to finally see a movie that I enjoy. You know, because I feel like we've had a lot of clunkers lately, and yeah, we've had a lot of clunkers.
Back to back Alien movies, like Ghoulies or Aliens, maybe. I don't know.
No, they're poop monsters. We discussed they're poop monsters. I think there's a difference between a poop monster, and an alien. So,
true.
But I got to tell you, you know, I've seen this movie a lot, and this is the first time that I actually kind of changed my. I love the movie. I'm not talking about like how I like the movie, but I kind of feel bad for the aliens. I mean, we're gonna get there, but I feel like, you know what, they might be the innocent party here, and the Marines and Ripley, you know, might be the villains.
Wow. Okay, cool. I can't wait to talk about that. I think, you know, it's going to be really interesting when you go into a movie that's like 2.5 hours. But what's great about this movie, and I think if we went back, obviously, I think our chemistry was always there from the beginning. But I think the big thing is when we switched to doing the video and like actually preparing, doing that, like Mad Max 2, I would say is one of the best movies that we covered too. And it's 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I feel like looking back on that movie, there were so many little scenes and so many of these oddity characters. In this movie, there's some really long scenes, like the hive battle scene, which we can't talk about all of it.
Yeah.
We'll obviously cover a bunch of it. That's 25 solid minutes of just nonstop.
Well, I guess the version that I watched, I believe, is the special edition version, because it has like the scene about the girl, how Newt started off with her parents and everything else. And I don't think that's...
I saw that one.
Yeah, so I don't think that's in the original. I'm not sure. I don't think... So, and there was a scene with Ripley learning about her daughter with a magazine.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Is that an original, though? Or is that...
I think it is, because I watched that one on Tubi, and then... So, no, I think that was always in it.
Yeah, but I don't think the original's 2.5 hours long.
I think the original is like 2 hours 17. So
that's what I mean.
Maybe they added more action scenes or something like that. But no, I think it's going to be fun, because usually we sit here and we're like, oh, this movie is an hour and 20 minutes. How long are we going to talk about it? But I think this movie is going to be kind of interesting, because there's these long scenes.
It is a long movie, but you know what though? Like, when the action hits, man, you know, the movie reminds me of like a video game. You know, there are scenes where when they're going down the corridors and like you see it like almost like first person view, and you see like it's a video game. You know, the monsters coming through.
Well, it is first person. I think that's what makes it so cool.
Yeah.
When Gorman, who's in Hellraiser 2, he's the doctor that says, "I'm a doctor, I can get you close." He's that guy, and he is watching it like a video game. Like he's telling everybody what to do. Like he's like, obviously in military, there's people that do that, but like an offense coordinator is like, hey, you go there, you go there.
Yeah.
So that's cool seeing that POV thing.
No, it was very cool. And like I said, it definitely was like a video game-ish kind of movie, which is great. Cause I mean, it, for when it was made, there was so like, it was great. I mean, and I kept thinking like, I didn't see it in the theater, but how awesome would to see this movie in the theater? Cause there's so many scenes that are silent. And you're just waiting for something to happen, or you're like that whole bedroom scene when they're laying down and and to see this in it had to be one of the scariest movies at the time, within a theater, lights off and
I would say to this day, I would love to still see it in a theater.
Oh,
I think they're playing it at the Mahoning Drive-In at PA. I think on like a Tuesday night, they're doing original 35 millimeter reel.
Oh wow!
On the drive-in theater, but no. Like I sent you today, I was, doing some work stuff and I was listening to the soundtrack by the guy who did the soundtrack, dude. He did this all within a few years, Commando. And then years later, he does Titanic.
Well, what's funny? There is a little Commando-ish / Rambo-ish kind of feel to this also. And I this may be a disagreement, but there definitely were characters I did not like.
Ooh, okay.
So we'll get there, but yeah. I mean, I think just some of the characters tried way too hard to be a badass. If you know who I'm talking about.
Oh no! Wait, really?
Yeah, Is it Vasquez? Vasquez?
Vasquez.
Yeah, I just feel like she was trying way too hard. I mean, the minute we see her, she's doing pull-ups. I mean, I just I just feel like, they made her the Rambo of the group, like the toughest one of the whole group. I don't know. I didn't buy it.
What do you mean? She just got to have a hyper sleep, which I would think your body would be like, I don't know how long they sleep for. Their body would probably have some type of atrophy or something
Oh, no, with that,
she's already working out.
Literally jumping. Like, I don't think she was out of that sleep more than 2 minutes before she jumped on the pole. A pull-up bar that just happened to be right there.
You gotta have that. As soon as you get out, you gotta work out. You gotta get everything going. No, I think that was so funny.
It was. Again, there was a lot of funny scenes. And the other question I have is, since we're just talking about that, why did they go in their underwear?
Maybe the clothes. I don't know.
I mean, she's wearing a t-shirt, or a tank top. So it's not like, you can't have any clothing touching you. So I just I don't know. I was just curious.
Maybe whoever invented the hypersleep machines is a total pervert. Yeah, and, or maybe they were playing a prank. They're like, "Hey, let's tell me if they go in their underwear." They're doing it. They're doing it.
You know what? That would make sense. I mean, listen, you're in space. It's got to be boring at times. They probably do pranks all the time, and that's that's a good one.
It's like Impractical Jokers. We're gonna get them to just go in their underwear, and they're gonna buy it. Why? Because we're scientists. I don't know.
All right, let's jump in this thing, because this is
so.
Awesome.
I love like the nostalgia of this, because I had this on VHS, and I remember just watching this so many times. But that's 20th Century Fox, like hearing that music hit, the logo come in, and it's so crazy when they show the cast of characters in this movie, the actors. It's like so many names and then so many faces within the movie of that main Marine Corps that have been on shows for years, like big TV shows.
No, I mean, and again, back then, I don't know how big they were, but yeah, I mean, everybody, almost every single person in the movie was someone big, or I know like they've worked together. They were different movies together. I know there were a few from Terminator. You had Paxton and what's his face, Kyle Reese
and Michael Biehn.
Yeah, like you had a couple of in other movies. I just love like the fact that like the eerie like kind of music / silence in the beginning. When they were showing outer space, like again, sitting in the theater like that it's got to be like just had to be awesome. Like had to be like the anticipation of like awesome.
Yeah, and the creatures, Stan Winston and the studio, I can't think of the other studio that helped out with everything, but I'm not going to go into so much that's in the Netflix. If you guys like movies that made us, check the Aliens one out. There's some really cool behind the scenes about just the way like the mother, the queen alien, the way she actually looks when you don't, but it's crazy how great everything looks in this movie.
Well, we talk about sequels, right? I mean, obviously that's what we do. And, the problem
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I think we do. But the problem with sequels is, for a sequel to be really successful and people like it is they have to up their game, and sometimes the formula that they try to up is almost too much. This formula, they upped it so perfectly because in the first movie, I believe there's like one alien and that's it. Right. So like they're dealing with the one alien. This one, you got a whole army. And like, that just, it just in itself, like, changed the whole movie from the first one. Because the first one is a little slow, has the creepiness. But again, it's about, dealing with this unknown thing. Here, it's like there's so many of them. And like when you see that on the screen, when you see the dots coming closer and you see how many are on there, just so great.
There's a story about James Cameron that when he pitched this movie to 20th Century Fox of him doing it, he wrote Alien and then he put an $$ for aliens.
What do you know? Do you know what it grossed?
Oh, I can look it up, but this movie must have crushed because he had Terminator, this, and then I think he pretty much was able to do whatever he wanted to after this.
Yeah. No, so awesome.
But yeah, Paul Reiser we get in this movie. And then we get, like you said, the eeriness. Ripley gets found in her pod. It's the aftermath of that first movie. And then how about you own cats? How about the way she talks to her cat?
What? Wait, so the cat was in the pod with her? Or was the cat in her own pod?
I think the cat was at her feet.
So the cat was in the pod with her the whole time?
It must smell in there.
It must smell, and hopefully she didn't have any allergies. Because, it's 57 years of, laying down with a cat.
It's her cat. I think it is her cat.
What, you can't have allergies and own a cat?
Well, why would you want to... wait, you wouldn't choose to own a cat.
But you
wouldn't know... allergic to garlic, I wouldn't be like,
okay,
put some more garlic on
it. Wait, is that your Italian voice?
Oh no, that was just me like coughing. I'm choking.
Okay,
the garlic allergy that I have in my throat.
But how would you know you had a garlic allergy unless you tried the garlic? So how would you know you had
if I pet one cat and I sneeze, I'd be like, get that fucking cat away from me. I wouldn't say, hey, come live with me.
So you're telling me if your family wants to get a cat, you bring it home, and then all of a sudden you feel like, all right, you're a little allergic to it. You're going to get rid of it right away, even though the rest of the family's fine with it?
What am I? I'm going to move out? I'm going to be Felix Ungard?
Well, listen, you can't stay away from the cat. I mean, you're literally going to save this cat. So this cat's at a well, it's not a kennel. What do cats go to? Like
shelter.
Shelter. Do they have cat? All right. So you're at a cat shelter. You rescue this cat. The cat's all excited to go home to a nice family, and then one day later, you're like, you know what? Let's send it back. So the cat thought he escaped death, and now you're just basically murdering the cat.
What do you want me to do? Ninja around my own house? Like have to
wear a mask? Listen, we've been wearing a mask since COVID. You can't wear a mask for the cat. I mean, not for nothing. They do sell allergy pills.
Oh, and then I'm putting medication in my body. Yeah, no, that's good. That's smart.
All right, so Doug's not a cat person.
No, I had cats growing up. I'm not allergic. I'm saying Ripley. If she's allergic, why would you put it in your pod?
Well,
there was something with the cat in the first one.
First of all,
no, I mean in the movie there was some kind of thing with the cat.
Where are the other animals? Is that the last animal around?
Maybe one person brought their cat on the ship.
And there's no other animals? So of all the animals, they're like, you know what? Let's bring a cat and that's it.
It wasn't Noah's Ark. There was one guy that snuck a cat on that loved his cat so much. He's like, I don't care if I'm allergic. I'm bringing it.
All right. I just find it odd that there's only one cat that's one animal that's there.
I mean, Egan's listening to this, and he knows exactly whose cat it is from the first movie and everything.
He knows the cat's name.
So many people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, the cat Jonesy, Paul Reiser brings it in, which Paul Reiser, huge at this time. Diner came out like 4 years before this. I'm sure he has a ton of movies, but stand-up wise, he comes in and the first thing she says is, "Jonesy, you stupid cat."
I feel like Reiser always kind of plays like a Weasley guy.
He plays it good.
No, he plays it really good, but
what he does in this movie is one of the most vile things. Like, you would take all of our favorite villains that we've interviewed, or in just villainy history, they'd be like, "Wow, that's fucked up, dude."
Multiple times, he does a few things that are messed up.
No,
so,
I know.
But you knew right off the bat, like, he comes across as like this nice guy who's trying to help her, and I think the moment you really realize that he's kind of a scumbag and just a creep is when she FaceTimes him and he's got no clothes on.
I love they have FaceTime in this movie.
Very impressive. I mean, this was way before FaceTime, so that was pretty impressive. But he did answer with no clothes on.
It was in the middle of the night, sleeping.
Okay, you can't quickly throw a shirt on or something, or I mean, something. I mean, he literally was, and listen, he looked like he wasn't sleeping. And it almost looked like he kept looking back like he's got someone there.
I thought he did have someone there. It was like,
but they didn't show anybody.
An awkward thing.
Yeah, well,
they should have. Burr, come back to bed.
What if the cat was there?
Jonesy, you stupid cat. No, what was funny? The way she dialed it. There was no number. She took like a little cartridge, like a Nintendo cartridge looking thing, and like slammed it on, and then it dialed. Because I didn't know what she was doing, and then.
So does that mean every single person on the ship has their own cartridge?
I guess
that's a lot of cartridges.
That's a lot. So the saddest part of this entire movie, and I think I told you this, like, when because you see a movie so many times, there's a little parts you don't remember, but the like depressing part of her being in hypersleep for 57 years and she outlived her own kid.
That was very depressing. And I don't remember, like I said, I don't remember showing her the magazine of her daughter later on. So yeah, that was pretty depressing, but I still think near the end is more depressing, and we'll get there.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, in a different way. Like I said, I really view this movie in such a different way that I think we're the villains. So I'm going to stick by that.
We're the villains.
Yeah.
Humans are the villains in most cases.
Listen, they attacked them. I mean, the aliens weren't bothering them. They went into the aliens' space. I mean, who's at fault there? They were defending their home.
Humans, easily.
Of course they were. So
we go in, we build all these houses, knock down these forests. We're like, why are there deer everywhere running through neighborhoods?
That's exactly.
I don't know, because you took away their fucking house.
That's what I mean. I mean, they literally dropped the colonies on this planet or whatever, this area where the aliens are. Who was there first? So again, think about that throughout our whole discussion. Aliens, were right, and Ripley's the bad guy.
Ripley's a bad guy. Speaking of bad guy, they really want her to be a bad guy. When you get this hearing with the military, the government, and insurance adjusters, and they're making her feel, again, this is the future, right? So I don't know what year this is supposed to be. I don't think they show a year ever or mention a year, but let's say if it is around like what time it is now. Again, I know millions of dollars are a lot of money, but if a company has a lot of money, that's something they can probably write off. But they're like freaking out about $2 million. Like, they're like going insane on her.
Well, $2 million 57 years ago. So it's not even something recent. It's like something that happened 57 years ago, and they're mad at her for that. Like,
I didn't even think of that. So the guy who's the president, who's pissed off, he has no vested interest.
He wasn't even around
3 generations before him.
First of all, she looks great for her age. You figure she's got to be like 70. Like, she's probably in her 20s in the first movie, and if she slept for 57 years, so she's probably almost 80.
Well, it keeps your body, obviously. But is she really, like, if she went somewhere and she filled out a form?
Now is her mind like frozen also in time?
I think everything's frozen. So could she like compete in the Senior Olympics and win?
Oh, she would crush it. but it freezes your mind. That doesn't make sense. Like, I can understand freezing your body, but I don't know. Your mind is old.
Well, maybe her mind is old. She still remembers how to she has a level 2 clearance to operate that forklift thing.
Yeah. Is she a scientist? Like, what is her title?
She's a pilot. She's a pilot.
Just a pilot.
Yeah, and she can operate that thing. No, because that was the thing to make her feel bad. At the end of the hearing, they're like, I'm sorry, Ripley, we're going to have to take away your license to fly. And she's like, what?
Okay, well, first of all, again, she hasn't flown in 57 years. So she should be like, you know what? Take it away. I got to go through some training again. You know, I mean, it's a long time. I mean, if you didn't drive a car for, you know, say, or stick shift for like 10 years, you know, you might need have an adjustment of doing it again. You know, it'll come back quick, but it's not going to, I mean, she should be 57 years is a long time.
But is it 57 years? If you go into a hypersleep, your brain thinks it's like tomorrow.
I guess.
I'm sure there might be new traffic laws or different buttons or something or a way to do something. But to her, she wakes up. She didn't feel like it was 57 years.
No, she didn't even know it was 57. She probably thought it was the next day, you know, when she woke up. And why are they mad at her? She saved herself. Like, it wasn't like she purposely blew up the station, whatever it was. Like, she was saving herself. So she should have just died on the ship, and they'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
And again,
they wouldn't have somebody pissed off to be angry at 57 years later.
So what makes me think then, so were they angry for 57 years? Like, every day they're like, oh, I can't wait for her to wake up. We really got to get into this. And like every day they're like waiting for her to have this hearing. And it's like, she's like,
no, you're right. Because that claim was cleared with an insurance company 56 years ago, probably. So like, what were they doing? They found her like, oh, State Farm or whatever the hell company you want to, you know, Progressive. And they're like, all right, hey, we just found Ellen Ripley. We got to take away that money back because we found her and we're going to find out what really happened. It's like, what?
So it just doesn't make sense. Like, it really, like that should have been forgotten about. You know, like, they should be amazed that she's even opening her eyes. Like, you know, tell us, like, you know what? No, they're angry almost like immediately at her.
Shouldn't this be a miracle? Shouldn't this be something that they could like float around, like the guys that invented this machine? Well, they're all dead now, but their grandchildren be like, hey, it actually worked 57 years and she's still alive. Maybe they only thought it worked for a year or two.
Yeah, no, I don't. No, that's ridiculous.
And it's really chap her ass and get her even pissed off. She obviously believes there's aliens. She saw aliens, right? They don't believe her at all, but she talks about like the LV 426. And when the guy he says it like out of nowhere, he's just like, yeah, the colonists are on there. She's like, oh, you have colonists on there? How many? And he's like, I don't know, 60 or 70 families. And it's like, holy shit.
So they, at this point in time, and obviously it's in way into the future and they're in space and everything else, they don't believe aliens exist? So you're telling me
how could they not?
All this time, in 57 years, none of the aliens were around? They just happened to be, were they in one of those hyper sleep things too? Like, I find it hard to believe that they had this major attack by this one alien, and then they haven't seen him until 57 years, and then all of a sudden they see him again the minute she wakes up.
Yeah, that's right, because on that planet is where they obviously were, because that's where they killed later. Spoiler alert, they kill all the colonists. Yeah. Did they just happen to not like cross each other, like bump into each other at the supermarket or something?
And they just happen to do it as soon as she wakes up? Like, but even if it wasn't these aliens, I mean, I would assume it's not the only aliens that are out there, you know? So like, how did they not come across one alien in 57 years?
Exactly.
And if that's the case, like, I don't even think they came across any other people. So what are the Marines training for?
Well, the Marines, I guess, have done mission. There's other colonies. So I guess they've done other. I don't know who the Marines fight because they mention at the breakfast scene. They do mention about like bugs. So maybe they do kill other types of creature.
So then why would they not believe Ripley?
That's weird.
You know, so, and I got to be honest. These Marines aren't that very good. I mean, they talk a great game, and I really wonder how Bill Paxton became a Marine in this movie because he's horrendous. I mean, you know, and he's like the biggest wimp. So I don't know how he became a Marine. So like, I'm not sure they're all really good Marines. It's just like, all right, you know what? We need a job for these guys. Let's just call them Marines.
They're the rag and tag, and they're the guys that are left. All the other guys didn't make it.
Yeah.
But no, they seem like they did, like went on a ton of missions. So yeah, no, we'll get to that.
All right.
It's so crazy how long it takes to get into the action, but not in like a bad way. It's just like everything's like action packed from like when you get to the end part. So then we cut to the colony. They show like life on the colony. We see like engineers. We see a kid on a big wheel. I guess to like really make us feel bad later.
You know what? That big wheel though, I was like laughing. I go, you're telling me of all things, like, you know, the kids are like, they have big wheels up there. Like, I mean, seriously. I mean, I can understand it. I can see kids playing basketball. They make a hoop or something. A big wheel? Ridiculous.
Hey, you kids can't be down here. You guys look at your dick yelling at them.
Ridiculous.
So now we see a family that what are they looking for? They never really mentioned what they were looking for, right?
What are they looking for, and why are they going in the middle of a crazy storm? Like, they're endangering those kids. I mean, they're endangering themselves, but like, right, what are they looking for, and why are they like going? Clearly, it was a bad storm. I mean, like, you know, it looked like, you know, so like, yeah, it didn't make sense at all. And
it's always dark. It is always dark, no matter what. Because
you're in space.
Newt says a line.
You are in space.
No, they get sun. They get the sun like we do. I'm sure we're in space.
But how far away are they? You don't know how far away they are in space.
I don't know, but she says a line later in the movie that South Park Cartman ripped in one of the episodes. She says they mostly come at night.
Right.
Mostly.
Right.
So when is it not night and they're not going to come?
Well, maybe she
come all the time.
Maybe she doesn't know what night is. I mean, night to them could be something. Because do they ever like? Are these people from Earth? Like in the original movie? Like, you know, I don't remember the original as much. So like, what planet are they on? Or are they just floating around?
No, they're from Earth.
Oh, they are. So they're all from Earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's definitely an Earth, but when we see her. When she's like in that facility, she's like in some kind of like space station.
Well, that's what I mean. It's only the space station you see, you know, or the where the colony is. Like there's nothing else.
I don't know. I don't remember if there's an Earth or not.
All right.
I do not remember. But no, you see that family and it's like, all right, terrible storm. You have your kids. And then I don't know what they're looking for. It must be some kind of precious metal or something but anyway, the mom and dad say, you and your brother stay here, go inside. And, it's been a while. And then the mom flies in and grabs on the walkie. She's like, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday.
I actually jumped at that because I you know, there were a few scenes I jumped, and that was one of them. I totally forgot about it. And, you know, it's a simple jump scare, but like I was not expecting it. And that was crazy. And again, the one day started going in there, you saw like there's a lot of creepy stuff. Why did they keep going?
And something must be because he says jackpot when he sees like wherever it is. So there must have been something in there was that valuable. But where are you going to spend it? What's there?
No, I know. And they don't need like astronaut helmets. They're able to breathe up there.
I guess the atmosphere is fine. You know, it's funny. I wish I would have looked it up, but the timing of this movie doesn't make sense because Total Recall is like 4 or 5 years later. But on one of the scenes when you show the Marines show up, there's a bar. So maybe they can spend their money. There's like one little sign on one building. It comes off and it says bar. But other than that, like, I don't know, where are you spending your money? What's this guy gonna hit the jackpot?
Where are the stores? I mean, nothing. Like, you know what? They really there's only like 2 areas that we see. Well, 3. I mean, but like, it's like really like, it looks like it's just like a boring, it looks like a Star Trek spaceship that they're in, like most of the time. And then the alien spaceship. Like, it's really like, there's no in between, you know? So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
And the dad has the face grabber on his, those things are.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I totally forgot how that started. I mean, I remember the coming out of the stomach, which Ripley has that dream. But yeah. And then, you know, again, another thing I totally forgot. Like, you know, like I there was a lot of, I forgot about this movie, and when that was first happening, I'm like, I don't remember this. Like, you know, it definitely threw me.
No, they have some good little things, like just how much she's being tormented. Like you mentioned the phone call before to Paul Reiser, like whatever, 2 or 3 in the morning. She is having another nightmare. I don't know if that's not the one when she has the chest burst. Or
no. The chest burst is literally like right in the beginning. Like, it's like one of the first.
Oh, that
scenes.
is okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but she has another nightmare, and then that's when she calls Paul Reiser, because Paul Reiser, Burke, and Gorman try to convince her, and they say, "Oh, we'll get your license reinstated. We'll make you worth your while." And she's like, "No." And then, boom,
you know what? There's no way she would go back. I mean, the first movie had to be so traumatizing. I mean, imagine seeing your first alien and then seeing your entire crew get destroyed. You're going to go back and deal with these things? No way.
No,
I know. Just to get your pilot license? All right, so retire at this point. Like, I would not. I mean, I don't know. I think that would be so traumatizing that I don't think anyone would do it.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why they kept showing those like flashbacks she was having, like the PTSD, because maybe she was like, if I don't face this, because she like felt something was still out there. So maybe she would feel better if she went all the way miles upon miles away and like killed him, and she could sleep at night, and her, you know, she could tell Jonesy he's a shithead. She calls her cat a shithead in the scene.
Oh, they can be. So, but
did this movie inspire the Will Ferrell skit? When Will Ferrell is trashing the dogs, when he's the doctor and the therapy dogs. What are you going to do? I'm going to go to work today all day, and you're going to lay here being a stupid idiot.
Only Will Ferrell could do that.
Oh my God.
You know, I feel, you know, you mentioned, you know, like Ripley going back and everything else. I think she was more Marine than any of the Marines there. And that's why I was asking her like what she was. I thought she was just like a scientist, but even a pilot. She was more badass. She's more badass than, like, she's definitely like heroes of all time. Like, she's out in the top 10, Ripley.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, I mean, so tough, so badass, and like, you know, again, doesn't have the training to do what she does, yet she somehow manages, you know, to handle herself and always save the day. She should have,
because even later in the movie, when you get Michael Biehn Hicks, when he's like, "Here, you ever fire one of these?" and she's almost like, "Oh no," and he gives her the gun and it's like, "Whoa!" Like,
she should have had the Rambo bandana, not Hernandez or what's her name? Vasquez.
Oh my God. So then we get her. Now she like is into it, and she's like, "Fine, I'm gonna go." So we cut to this ship flying in space. We get the fully stocked guns, rockets, a helicopter, and we get all the soldiers, and get everybody waking up. Like, this is the movie that launched Paxton. Like, the way he portrayed this role, you know. And then Weird Science next year. This year,
I feel like he played Chet in this movie.
He was Chet.
No. Yeah. I mean, like, his character, like, was like as if Chet was on.
That's what I mean.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, he totally was Chet in this movie, and he channeled Chet, you know, for both movies, because it was the same guy. You know, obnoxious, you know, but like a wimp when push comes to shove. Like, Chet was a wimp when it came pushes. You know, when he was dealing with what's her face. So like, I think that in this, like, again, like in this movie, it seems like they all pick on him. You know, he's got the biggest mouth, so he's always making fun of. But they all like really put him in his place. Even in the beginning, when you go, "Hey, Vasquez, anyone ever mistaken you for a man?" And then she turns around, and she goes, "Anyone ever mistaken you as a man?" You know, like, or the hand thing with the bishop. like the knife.
Oh wait, I have that. No,
Okay.
because I had to do that.
So,
clip.
but it just seems like every little thing with him, they always making fun of him. Like he almost should not be a Marine. Really, I mean, like he he's funny, but he's the worst Marine.
He and then the captain Apone, like he is going at him.
Oh.
Like when he says, "Oh yeah, could you fetch my slippers for me?"
They all are. I love, after listening to the interview, I love that scene at the table. You know what he said about everybody just improving, because like, and like everybody. I don't know if it was in the interview or I read this, that Cameron filmed like a lot of those scenes at the end of the movie of all the Marines together, so they can build a friendship. So it makes it more, which is so creative and such a great idea, that when they did film the scenes, they were together for so much that it was more like it was more realistic.
Yeah, and like Frost and Hudson were like boys.
Yeah.
Because they were right next to each other in their pods, and then even at the table, they seemed like they had their friendship. And then Hicks, the fact that James Remar was Hicks, and then he got busted for crystal meth or something like crazy, like speed in London, and then he's still in the movie in one scene that they were doing like a walk. But luckily, what happened? It worked out because Michael Biehn, obviously, like Cameron worked with him the year before on Terminator. So like, hey, I know this guy can do it. And you know what's weird? I love James Remar, but to see him play a good guy,
I know, is
like, I don't know. Hicks is such a good guy in this movie. So like to see Remar in a role like that would kind of be weird.
Why? He played a good guy in other movies.
What other movies?
I don't know.
Around this time, The Warriors, he was in the one with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. He's the bad guy in the first one.
That's not him.
That's James Remar.
Who? Which character?
In what are you talking about? Just
no
Warriors?
Wait, you're saying he was supposed to be in this movie?
Yeah, he was.
I was
supposed
confused.
To be
okay. Oh yeah, no way. That wouldn't. I was so lost on this. Just a second. I thought you were talking about. Yeah, never mind. So, oh yeah, he plays a bad guy in every.
No, he
single
got busted
movie.
for drugs. He was in the movie. He was cast, and then he reached out to Bean after he got busted, and he couldn't work on the movie anymore.
Gotcha. Okay, I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty wild, right?
He's very
still
wild.
One scene when they show them walking in to for the first time when they get to the hive, when they see all the bodies come up, like when Hudson finds them, when they first walk in, I guess for some reason they couldn't reshoot that scene, but Remar's back.
You could clearly see him.
No. They just announced. They mentioned in the Netflix movies that made us, but so this breakfast scene when they're all ribbing each other and everything. How about when when Frost says, well, "Get me some of them Arterian girls," and I'm like, are these like humans or are these?
It's aliens. You think they're aliens?
Aliens.
Well, first of all, are there any other women on the ship?
Yeah, there's a pilot.
Oh, that's right. Well, okay, so you have
one of the medics, and then also there's the medic that's a Marine. So like 3 girls. Oh well, Vasquez. Well, 3.5.
Okay. No, I mean, I forgot about the pilot. I didn't. First of all, it seems like there's not a lot of people on this space station. It's like what you see is what you get.
No, exactly.
I mean, when you see, like, when we watch Star Trek, there are people walking around left and right all over the place. Here is literally there's like 8 people and that's it.
And the place is huge.
Yeah, I know.
The fact that there's that room that like the cargo holding area, that is so huge that it could fit another plane.
You know what? I think that's part of why this movie is so good and like suspenseful is it's a very claustrophobic movie, right? I mean, there's so many scenes that are just like enclosed in so much that it's just intense like that. Those corridors almost remind me of Star Wars, like when Luke and Harrison Ford were trying to save Princess Leia.
We're stuck in the
garbage disposal. Like it just reminded me of like, and there isn't like that room where Newt hangs out looks like the garbage disposal area.
Yeah.
I wonder if they use the same set because it looked very very familiar.
Well, did they film Star Wars? And I feel like they did film Star Wars over in London at this.
But that was in the 70s. I don't know if
they keep sets forever.
Yeah, I guess
the Back to the Future set is still used today. They still use all that stuff. All right, I should know the name of that studio. Something Wood, Kingwood Studio, something like that. Is a big one in London where they film a ton of the movies. But so this next scene, it's so funny as a kid. Like, I would do this.
Everybody did this.
With a butter knife.
Everybody did this.
Do the thing with the please. Come on. Hey, what are you doing, man? Hey, what are you doing? Come on, quit messing around, Drake. Come on.
That guy reminded me of Busey's son. The blonde guy that was dating. Fast guys. He reminded me of Busey's son. Oh.
Thank you.
His face when he's screaming.
That wasn't funny, man.
And you know what? It almost looks like he didn't know that was like. I bet you, because there's a lot of improv there. I bet you that wasn't supposed to happen. And
he didn't know.
He didn't know for that scene. That's
No.
awesome. That's awesome.
So I don't know. They obviously used a dummy knife.
Right, but still,
They must have. But
that's great.
yeah.
See,
So cool thing about Lance Hendrickson, before I forget, is he pledged to quit acting if this role didn't work for him, because up until this point in his career, he was a real journeyman, didn't have like big roles, and wow, it's changed everything.
And you know what? His role here was great. I mean, I know they have this like a similar role in the first movie. They have another android in the first movie, right? I believe that sabotages everything. Okay, so and it sabotages the whole.
It malfunctions, yeah. That's why she gets freaked out at the table, right?
But he plays it like he's such a likable character in this movie. Like he played it great. So yeah, no, it was awesome.
What he does at the end is wild.
And what happens to him was pretty crazy. I remember that, but seeing it for the first time and the way it happens and how fast it happens, so crazy. I mean, it's oh, man.
So then you get Ripley. She's talking to everybody in the whole. This is right after I think she says she has a class 2 license, and Michael Biehn and everybody's like, okay, when she comes out and uses it. So she starts telling them about the acid for blood and breaking down the alien from the first movie, and then they're getting ready to finally go in right after this. And I love when Apone has such great lines in this movie. He's like, "You heard the man, assholes and elbows."
Well, I was questioning, why were they going if they didn't believe her? Why are they wasting time, money, the ship, and everything else if they didn't believe her?
Well, I think no matter what, it is kind of weird that if 70 colonists, families, so what, 210, 280 people just stop talking and there's nothing going on. So maybe they just brought it just in case. Maybe that's why they didn't have a huge team, because if they really knew that these aliens were there, I would think they would have brought an army and not just
an army. There's only 7 people on the ship. There was the army.
No, it was the army. That's all it was left.
The only thing they didn't bring was the cat and yeah, that's it. The cat. I think everybody. You literally saw everybody. I mean, so I don't think they had a choice. I think what they brought was what they had.
And how about the fact that Gorman? So this guy's in charge of this mission, right? And when they ask him about what number mission is this for you? Oh, they call it a drop, and he goes 38 missions. Simulate it. I've done 2, including this one. How did he get hired?
I between him and Paxton, neither one should be in the military.
Paxton, maybe he shouldn't be, but he's done. I think all those guys we're talking about, they've done 100 successful missions. So why aren't one of them in charge or something?
No, the way Gorman panics throughout the whole movie and can't make a decision, like, a lot of the things needed to be done right away, and he stalls that Ripley had to take over. Again, proves again, why are they like, where, like I said, how did they get that role? Why is he there? And yeah, I don't know. What kind of hiring process do they have?
Not a good one. Not a good one. They need to look into HR and really just like figure something out. But no, one thing I gotta say is the actor, which I should pull up his name, because his role in this movie, like no joke, when he is panicking in that scene, it is so good. William Hope, when he's panicking, looking at the screen, and he's sweating and his eyes, he's not blinking. God, that is like, it like adds to the horror of what's going on in that scene.
And I think that's the moment when Ripley again shows her like worth, because like she steps up big time, from that point on.
We gotta go back.
The fact that she took control of that, it almost feels like he was willing to sacrifice his own men because he couldn't, he didn't know what to do. I mean, she literally went right back. So yeah,
she went back in that miniature car. The great miniatures in this movie, like really, they look so good. Like all that stuff obviously wasn't. They had these little miniature sets that just like worked out. So
it's funny that there was so much of this movie that looked awesome and looked great for its time, and then watching it again, there's so much of it that just looks so cheeseball. Like, the screen when they're flying around and everything, like it just like, you could see they're flying, like there's a screen in front of them of like space or movement. Like, there's a lot of like cheeseball moments in there. That, it's amazing because, when you watch it for the like movies like this for the first time, you don't think anything of it. Like, you're like, that looks so awesome. And then, after watching movies today and watching a movie like this back, you're like, how did I ever believe that was like looking good? Like, it's just amazing. It's just fun watching a movie back, and just seeing like these little things.
Yeah, like seeing like the evolution of cinema and like special effects. But what's great is when you use real effects, like the practical effects of the aliens, God, that's holds up so well. When we get into that, that is like, to me, like so great, like seeing everything. But one thing that is cool about Paxton, his craziness and his cockiness, when he's talking to Ripley and he's like going over everything they have, we got grenades, we got rocket launchers, and he's like almost like strutting his stuff and like moving his arms.
Well, that's the thing. He's like the cockiest guy there, but he's the biggest wimp. So what is he cocky about? Like, I wonder if he's ever been on one of the missions. Like, I'm sure some of the other guys have, and I just feel like, like he's just like a tag along. And it's like, let's fine. You know what? There's no aliens there. We don't believe her, so let's just bring him with us. It's gonna be, make him feel good about himself.
He's somebody's like nephew, like annoying nephew that never gets to play. But no, he does do some great foreshadowing because he breaks down one of the bombs that they use later in the movie. That's just like the super tiny thing, and then that little tiny bomb caused like a monster explosion later. But so how about Vasquez and her guy? Hit their guns they have. It isn't like Beverly Hills Cop 3, what Surge is selling with the microwave.
Yeah, you know what? Between that and reminded me of again like Jesse Ventura from Predator, like that massive gun he had. But again, like I said, Vasquez has the best gun out there. She's leading the pack. Like, I feel like, I'm all for having a female, tough, I guess, military person and like taking charge. But I feel like they pushed it too hard. Like they pushed her toughness way too hard. And I didn't like it that way. Because listen, Sigourney Weaver is such a tough woman and badass, and she doesn't push it. Like, it just comes natural. Like, she just goes out there and does it. She doesn't have to prove that she's the tough one, where I think Vasquez is constantly trying to prove that how tough she is.
Well, she is. She's the only girl that is part of that.
Yeah, but they all respect her. They all respect her except for Paxton. So, so I don't think she has to prove it to them. Because again, even when they land, and I do like, when she is fighting later on, it's pretty awesome. When they're all like the last 20 minutes to me is just incredible. But I just feel like, I almost feel like they were just trying to show that a woman can be tough. And like, when you're it was just too much. I think they were trying to push it too much. When if they just let go a little bit, she would have came across as the better character.
I liked her a lot.
By the way, I just reached out to her the other day. I'm trying to get her.
She's great.
She's in. She's awesome. I didn't know this. She's in Terminator 2.
She's the mom.
She's the mom, and then she was in another movie. Oh, she was in Titanic. She played the Irish mom with the two kids when they were when the water was coming up. Do you remember when she was talking to her two kids and she was hugging them? So, did you see Titanic?
You're asking me to remember. I saw Titanic in the movie theater.
Okay, you're the one with the great memory, and this, it's a pretty big scene. Like it's when you see like the two old people hugging each other and the water rising around their bedroom, and then they show the Irish mom with her two kids. She's holding them as the water's rising, knowing that they're gonna die too. Well, that's her. I didn't realize that was her also. So yeah, she's pretty cool. And it's funny.
Yeah, so she works with Cameron a lot.
No, and she
does. She doesn't have a lot of credits, right?
She doesn't have a lot of credits, but you know what? All three roles, she looks so different. She really does. So, and that's why I never realized it. So yeah, she's pretty cool. I don't blame her. I just blame the script of how they tried to make her tougher than, just to try to prove a point kind of thing. All right.
Women in the military. There was no women in the military back then. So that's why they were pushing it. Maybe women joined the military, saw that. They're like, I want to do that.
Listen, the fact that she was doing pull-ups immediately, again, it's just throwing it in your face how tough she is. Her attitude was great. Her toughness was great, but they were throwing these little jabs at you to show, listen, she is the toughest one there. She's a tough girl. It was just, to me, again, it was too much. Let her show it on the field, which she did.
And she did.
She did.
So then, again, you mentioned the silence, when they first get there and you hear there's one point there's no music and it's just water dripping and they're all looking around and they're like, hey, Ripley, you getting this? And they see the acid that was ripped through the floor. And he's like, you're going to love this. And then you even get Paxton hocking a loogie down, and Vasquez pretends to push him from behind. She gives the old scare.
And he goes, what do you say? Cut it out. He's a high school kid and always pranking him. They probably give him wedgies all the time and, the swirlies and all that stuff.
So the motion tractor that plays such a cool element in the movie, it has nothing. And then boom, something gets picked up. Him and Vasquez are teamed together. They go in. Just hamsters on a wheel. So there's these cool little elements throughout this movie with that is just so good.
So where are they? They at a colony or are they on the alien ship?
They're at the colony. No, they're at the colony. They don't go to the alien ship.
So the aliens are in the colony? Like the eggs and all that stuff? They're inside that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's at that transfer. It's at some kind of transfer station. So that's why that scene, because there's a lot of I don't know what kind of tanks they have there, but they're not able to use guns because they'll set off but no. So I guess maybe the aliens use the heat because that's why they brought all the bodies there. But just that whole scene. And then they go into the lab and there's the face grabbers and the tubes. So then they're able to figure everything out. But dude, how about what they look like?
Yeah.
And they even make a joke about it. Oh, it looks like she likes you. Because it looks like the V word.
The V word.
The V word. We don't have to spell it out.
You really think that was what they were aiming for?
I don't know. It looks like it. You Google that. And get a cartoon photo that's from some health book from 6th grade. That's what it looks like.
Okay. If that is what they taught is what it looked like in health class, I think every single kid would freak out. Could you imagine? It's okay. So, first of all, let's thank God that that's not what it looks like.
Yeah.
But can you imagine that was in the book? And here, it's
sneaking into a kid's book that photo of what that is. But
man.
No, oh my gosh. And then you get they're like, hey, everything's clear. Let's go in. And so you get Ripley, Gorman, and Paul Reiser. They all go in there and you're just like, holy shit, like what?
Like, so
I
what?
couldn't imagine doing it.
No, like though I mean, Gorman fine, but like the other two, they're bystanders. Like especially Paul Reiser. I mean, like he's had no combat experience. At least Ripley, you know, dealt with it years ago. Like, what is he thinking? Like, what? I know he's looking at money, but he could have stayed on the screen the whole time. He didn't have to be out there. Like I'm surprised that like they allowed that. Like it's got to be a safety thing.
Oh yeah, for like the Marines. Yeah, why would they let him? But for him, he is doing it. What is he going to do? Go there and be like, oh, don't break that. Don't do that. It's like, oh, that's all money. Because that's all that matters to him. It's like, obviously what stays intact there and then what he can bring back later.
So do you think he's acting on his own or is acting with that whole crew that was, you know, the jury earlier, whatever?
Well, yeah, the company he works for, he's a representative of the company. That's what they call it. Which is pretty cool. They use that term, like the company.
Yeah.
So no, that's who he works for. Because Ripley rips him later and says, "You're doing this all for percentage points."
So Ripley rips him.
She ripped him.
Okay.
And she did the old grab the collar thing and like.
Well,
like,
she's
give me your lunch money.
She's a tall woman. I think she's like over 6 feet. Yeah. So she I don't think they could have found a better person. Like she really, again, these movies definitely put her on the map, and like just she's so intimidating, like as and fierce when she starts going. Like she's awesome. Like she was so perfectly picked for this role. I never saw the other Aliens, so I like this after watching this. I know they're not that good, but I almost feel like I need to watch them now.
Yeah, the third one. I think the only thing I don't like about it, like almost like I'm not saying Halloween 5, but like just the way the story is totally different. Not totally different, but just
is that the one with Winona Ryder?
No, that's Alien Resurrection. That's the fourth one. No, the third one they landed. The ship gets either crashes or it's found. It's like a military prison, like a space prison. What's his name's in it? Who's great? Charles S. Dutton.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He was on Rock, the series Rock.
Yeah, I know he is.
He was the janitor.
Yep.
He's in it, and he has a pretty cool, great scene in it. So, no, I think looking back on it now, it's probably better.
No, listen, you know what? It's like anything else. You know, when you have these series, you have to watch them all. You know, you're invested. Yeah. You know, even if they're not as good. I mean, I never saw Alien vs. Predator. I don't know if that was any good or, you know, did you see that one?
I watched the sequel and I thought it was fun.
Wait, there's a sequel to Alien vs. Predator?
Yeah, it's called Requiem. I watched it. It was on Tubi one night. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It was enjoyable. It was fast. It was
now I don't know who wins, but like is the sequel trying to make it even? So like, you know, in the first movie one wins and then it's
I didn't see the end. It's like a lot of these movies I put on like now. I just fall asleep. Okay. And then I try to finish them, but
all right.
So then we get like them. They're like they have their guns. They're getting like fired everything, and then they see something run across, and luckily Hicks at the last second blocks Frost from shooting what runs across, and it's Newt. It's a little girl.
So how long has she been there?
I think they mentioned the last communication was something crazy. I feel like it was weeks.
Yeah, but okay. I mean, because she does look the same age as she was in the car.
Oh yeah, it wasn't years.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at her, she looks like she's been there for years, like living by herself. You know,
her room is covered in trash and toys.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. I think if they didn't have that first scene, and I want to say, I don't know if it was on the original of that first scene, seeing the parents go to that thing. I don't know. I
remember that. No, I remember that.
Okay. So,
because that shows who she is. We would have been like, who's this person we've never seen before?
The lone survivor.
What do you mean a lone survivor?
If you didn't see the scene with the parents, you would think, all right, so she's the only person that survived.
Oh, no, I know you know that, but there's like some sort of story, and then it means more later in the movie when she calls her mother, because she lost her mother, and she sees her as like a motherly figure.
See, I wasn't looking at it that way. I was looking at it more as Ripley lost her daughter. So that was more of like a Ripley being a mother.
No, but that wasn't Ripley. Didn't say daughter.
No, I know that, but it was
she called her mother.
But she was been a mother figure to her the whole time.
Yeah, well, it was for both of them. It was a perfect
It was.
kinship, like the relationship that they both had. She told a little girl that her daughter died.
I know. No, I get it.
This kid's been through a lot.
Listen, there was also a mother alien at the end too, who lost her children. So I mean, let's be honest here.
Let's be honest here. So then we find out about. So Ripley runs. She follows her. She grabs her to convince her to come back. She's not talking, obviously, because she's traumatized. So then we have Hudson. He's on the computer because when those, I guess that scanner only goes so far out, but every colonist has chips implanted on them. So he's able to go into the computer. Then he finds all of them 20 clicks away, and they're like, wow, they're all together. They must be having like a town hall or something. Dude, when this whole scene with the POV that we were talking about before, but the way when they walk in and they see the walls like that, and you're like, all right, this isn't normal. I don't know if I'd still be there.
No, listen, the alien pulls a Rambo. Do you remember when Rambo was in mud?
Yes.
Because imagine seeing it for the, and I actually rewound it after I saw that because I needed to see it again because I didn't see it the first time. Like, the way it happens. And so when I was watching, I'm like, it blended in so well. Like it was just, it was so awesome.
Let's cue that up now.
Pull your team out, Gorman.
So, yeah, it's the coolest scene.
It really is.
I got signals. I got readings in front and behind.
They're all getting surrounded by
There's nothing back here.
all of these.
I'm telling you, there's something moving. It ain't us.
You're getting dots all over Hudson's screens. They're all around us. They're all around us. They don't see anything at all.
They're all around us, man. Jesus.
How cool is that?
Maybe they don't show up on your
And we see a guy that we don't really know his name. Oh, this is the girl. I'm sorry. This is the medic.
Yep. But just
Oh,
so awesome how to hide
and
it.
then Frost gets
This whole
flamethrowered
scene
by,
just goes out of control. Like it's like
dude. People just start getting thrown.
lit on fire, and then the screen goes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah. Because Dietrich, I guess, dropped insane that whole
and
scene.
he's useless. Gorman at this point. This is the start of Gorman being absolutely useless.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, but that was so cool. I mean, I literally rewound, I think twice. I'm trying to look at where the alien is, and it was awesome.
Just thinking about the people in those suits. Like, there's a scene later that I love so much when you see them all on the ceiling. But just seeing that was a person that turned and jumped down and grabbed, like, it just is so good. Well, just before that, to even make it even creepier, is you have the eerie music. They see all the alien eggs that are hatched. And then one of the colonists is still alive, and she says, "Kill me, please kill me." And then the chest burster comes out.
Yep.
They shoot the flamethrower, and then that's when Paul Reiser mentions, like, oh, they shouldn't be using that fire because it could set off like an explosion. And one of the lines that
Ripley says it.
Oh, Ripley's the one that said it? Yeah. And then Reiser agrees. Yep. And then Rico they're like, okay, guys, give me all your magazines. And he's like, what do you want me to do? What are we supposed to use? Harsh language? Which is true. Like, dude, you're in this place when you see, like,
what do you expect
the walls
them
covered in that?
Right.
Yeah.
And they said, give me the magazines, yet what's her face? Vasquez is walking around with her huge gun still.
She hides one. She only gives one away.
But she still has the huge gun on her back.
Well, no, I can have the biggest rocket launcher in the world if I have no.
Shit, listen, he didn't do a good job checking if all the magazines. He did it the right way because there people needed magazines. What
was going to happen?
That was ridiculous. But I feel like their guns had everything because later on, it's Hudson, right? Who's
Paxton?
No, the other guy, Hawk.
Hicks. Michael Biehn.
Hick, Hawk, Hudson. He's got a blowtorch that he uses when he's trying to get the girl out of the floor. He uses a blowtorch, a mini.
Oh, on the flamethrower?
No, it wasn't a flamethrower. It was a blowtorch.
Oh, yeah, like a little blowtorch.
Yeah, so I feel like they had all this, it was like Inspector Gadget. They had all these different things that they can use. I mean, and
Ripley has a blowtorch on her, a little flamethrower on the Bobcat.
the
thing at the end. I don't know what that.
Oh well, I mean, look, all right. I don't want to talk about the end yet because that was a little disappointing. But go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't like the fight.
So then we get again just chaos. It's a 25-minute scene of just like insanity, and then this is where Ripley, like you mentioned, Ripley took charge. She takes the wheel. She drives in. She crashes into the thing. And then everyone whoever's left.
But Gorman at this point is mad at her for trying to go get these people. He's actually trying to take control of the wheel. I think he goes in there and he's like, yeah.
He bumps her and it crashes into the wall. Yeah.
What an idiot. And
then Vasquez, who again, she's like sort of, I guess, with who's that?
Busey.
Oh, what the heck's his name? Drake, Private Drake, Mark Rolston. And they're like, come on. And the alien like blocks him from getting on. She shoots it. And dude, the way the acid blood hit his face, he was just like, God.
You know, the aliens in this movie, I don't remember them or the alien in the first one being as crafty and smart as these. Like these aliens are so smart.
Well, 57 years they had time to practice.
Okay. You have this many aliens here. No one's seen an alien in 57 years. Oh, it takes 57 years to hatch.
That makes no sense.
It really does. It really doesn't. So, okay. I mean, because there's a lot of aliens in this area. So, I mean, all right. And okay, so you're saying those aliens with the walls and everything else are at the colony's storage area, right?
Yeah. Oh, I think they call it like the I feel like they call it the transfer station or something.
How long were the people missing from the colony for them to not see a wall of alien stuff that's built up like that?
Oh, you mean the colonists? I'm sure they all got taken all at once.
No. Anyone else? Like how long? Like how long was it empty for? That they went back.
Who else would have saw it?
I don't know. I'm saying how long has the colony been gone before?
Oh, I don't know. I forgot how long they said exactly. Like how long?
Like, well, I was curious what the time frame is between the Marines going there and the colony's missing.
Yeah, because they made the comment of how long that Newt stayed alive, and Paxton was like, "Well, why don't you put her in charge?" Man?
But see, that's what I mean. So like the scene where the aliens on the wall and that whole area looks like it's been around for years, right? But
we don't know how quick aliens work. They could maybe put that all together pretty quick.
That's why it makes it look like it's on an alien ship, because that whole area is like alien-esque. You know, like it looks like the whole. So if Newt was only gone for 3 weeks, or like you're going to tell me the aliens built that whole inside of the colony with no one seeing it that fast?
It's their mucus. They mucus a lot. When you see the multiple jaws come out, that's a lot of like mucus flying out. So maybe it's just that. No, but I don't think it's like a long time, because
it's not a long time. That's what I mean. I don't know.
They work hard.
Okay.
They work hard for their money.
All right.
So then they get the one xenomorph that is blocking the door. They blow its face. The acid flies all over. And dude, how about when Ripley's driving away and one punches through the window like a bad guy, and then she fights it off. It flies in front of the car and gets ran over. Like
these aliens are super crafty. They literally act like humans in this movie.
Yeah,
so.
And then they're like, "Oh, Sergeant Dietrich, they're still alive. We can go back." And they're like, and then I love the way she like really just like puts these Marines, like really sets like what's really going to be happening right now. They're like, yeah, they're probably alive because they're going to cocoon them the same way that it's like.
No, she sets the whole tone. But see now, this is kind of what confused me. So she was we're not there yet, and I'm going to bring it up now. But when Newt is taken later on, how does she know Newt's alive? Where she wants to go back and check.
Motherly instincts.
Okay, but she wants to go and check on her. But every single person that was taken before that never cared to even try to look and help. Ripley's a bad guy.
Ripley's the bad guy?
Yes. I'm telling you.
Pro aliens.
After this movie, I am definitely for this movie. The first one, maybe not so much. But then you know what? Again, the more I think about it, could be the first one. Could be because again, we entered their realm. They weren't bothering anybody. No one knew they were around, and they attached them. Someone came into their area, attached it to his face, and that started everything. So, no, the aliens are good guys. I would like to see a movie, another aliens, from their perspective.
From their perspective. Honey, I'm going to go for a walk. Hey, this guy's shooting my eggs. So one part I really loved was just like, there's so many good like lines. And like, this is where you see Reiser really like showing like the creeper that he is, because the fact that I love when Ripley says, I say to make sure that they're gone, we take off, we nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. And then he's like, no, wait a minute. No, we can't do that. It's cost a lot of money, this site. And then she looks at him and goes, well, now since Apone and I think Gorman was knocked out at this point. And she goes, well, I guess Hicks is the acting lead in command. And then he goes, I say we take off and nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Well, this is the time when Ripley and Hicks start having their little love flirting, which seems to start happening immediately after half his team just died. Half his team just died, and they're smiling and like playing like, little flirty games, which there was no remorse.
None.
Okay.
None.
There really wasn't.
There's only 2 girls in his regular platoon, so this is a new girl he hasn't seen in 100 missions.
But even Ripley didn't show remorse. I mean, she was flirting right back with him.
Yeah.
So Ripley's a bad guy. All right.
Love is love. Yeah, Ripley's
I'm telling you. At the end of the movie, you're going to see it differently. I mean, at the end of the review.
So then the next scene, they call the helicopter to come get him. And I love when you see the pilot calling for the co-pilot when he walks on and he's like, hey, what's this on the ground? It's the mucusy stuff. And then when she's like, come on, what are you doing? Why are you taking so long? And when that door opens and you see the xenomorph and you see the mouth open and you see her go for the gun.
How did he get in there?
He opened the door.
But wasn't he already flying? Wasn't the helicopter already flying?
No, they weren't. No, they didn't take off yet. Oh, yeah,
they were already in the air.
That was already took off, yeah.
Yeah, so how'd they not know that? Was the alien just sitting there quiet until they took off? Like he was just hiding in the back of there?
Probably.
It's an alien. You're going to tell me he's behind the boxes waiting. He's like, and he's probably like giggling. They don't know I'm here.
So you're pro alien, but now they can't be stealthy?
No, I am pro alien.
So they can only be what you want.
Listen, they are aliens, but I don't think they're just going to wait. Again, why would they wait for the helicopter to take off just to kill them then? Like, why wouldn't the alien?
They just did a Rambo in the previous scene. He blended into the wall waiting for these people, and he did like a stealthy kill. He can't hide behind a box?
Well, he could have been sleeping on the wall. They could be sleeping that way. I don't know if
maybe.
Right. But literally, the airplane is in the air, and that's when the alien decides to attack. Like he literally, so they are smart. That's what I mean. They act like humans, but I think these aliens would have killed it right away. Like why he wouldn't have waited? Because what's his point to make it crash? Just kill them before it takes off.
He wanted to really make Hudson go crazy. Well, because Hudson's like, "Hey, they're here," and then you saw the.
Yeah, but they can't be that smart because he was on the plane when they crashed. Like if he did it before the airplane left, he would have walked away free.
Kamikaze, suicide mission. He was like, I'm doing this for the aliens I believe in, anti-Ripley. No, but when you see that door open and she goes to grab for the gun and she's getting ready to fire, and then even like gun and then eject.
Yeah.
And just the blood squirting against that.
But just her face, again, as the audience, when you see that alien behind her, like you're not expecting that. I know. It was just so awesome. Like just the creepiness of these aliens when they just come out of nowhere is just great.
Oh, dude. And then how about the fact that, so this is what's crazy. I forget exactly what the time frame was that Newt was by herself, but the only dates I remember is the fact that maybe it might have been the same number then, because they said, Hudson's like, how long will it have to be for them to send backup? He said 17 days.
17 days.
So maybe the colony, I'm sure the colony is the same rule. It might have been 17 days around that time, or maybe a little bit longer, but 17 days. Like if I heard that, I'd be like, holy shit. He's like, dude, I don't think we're gonna last 17 hours.
You would be like Hudson. I mean, he was freaking out.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody would. I mean, that's ridiculous. So, yeah.
But what do they do next? Ripley calms him down, says, I need you to go to the nearest computer and get the plans of this station, everything. And then they do something like Home Alone.
Okay.
They set up traps.
No, they put the turrets out there, which are very cool how they did that. But again, Ripley's a pilot, and she's basically taking control of the Marines. Like she's taking control of everything, and she's the calmest one out of everybody.
Yeah.
But those, you know what? I love those turrets when you see the number of bullets that are being shot and how many are left. Like, again, it just like, and even when she has the gun later on and she's shooting and, you see the bullets go down. Like a lot of times they don't show that in movies, they have unlimited bullets. Here, like, again, it's all about panic. The turrets are going crazy when they finally go off, but like it's going to be running out of bullets soon.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, dude. It's so great. So then we get, not even the turrets, they're setting that up, but they're blowing tunnels.
Yeah.
So I think they start blowing stuff up. They start sealing
was
doors.
Was Tunnels the name of one of the crew?
Oh my god. that was a joke that was probably made in that health class with that textbook. The alien on there.
Alrighty.
So then perfect next line, next part, Newt asks Ripley about people babies. She says, are people babies made the same way as alien cocoons?
And then then they showed her the science book, the health book.
Textbook. They showed her
that has the alien V in there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And this is the first time you get like this whole thing of Riser. Like again, he has a lot of these lines, but this one he goes about the xenomorphs. He goes, could you imagine, Ripley, what the military would be able to use these for? And then she's like, are you out of mind? How would you get that through? How would you get one of these back to Earth?
Not only that, how does he expect to use it? I didn't understand like what his game plan was. I mean, I know what he said, but I don't understand how he would expect to use these aliens.
It's almost like in Jurassic Park, in the new Jurassic Park movies. What's his name? Wants to use the Velociraptors as like
a pet.
No, they want to use him in the military.
No, I know, but
he wants to,
but like train him like a pet. So he thinks he's gonna be able to train aliens to be in the military. Listen, you know what? If Bill Paxton can make the military, then you know what? Why can't one of the aliens?
I guess if you can just drop the aliens off like in enemy territory and then just let them do their thing, then that makes sense. It's not like you're going to be like next to an alien.
Well, you know what? Maybe this
Marine
is
Corps training.
Maybe this is a prequel to Men in Black. Because aren't the aliens part of the whole agency?
Well, they are.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The pug. The pug.
Right. So maybe there's a start in Men in Black.
This is where they thought of the idea. And then, like you said, how cool it is, like when you see the sentry guns, like turrets are just like going off, and you see the count that they're able to see that. And then how about Bishop?
Well,
volunteers.
Well, as you have the turrets going, the line on the I call it like the football game. Remember that handheld football game looks like But you see the line of like how many aliens are coming forward, and they keep getting closer and closer, and they it's almost like they're marching as a military unit as they're coming together. It's very cool. But yeah, it
was right when they were doing the Vasquez and Hudson walked the perimeter after those guns stopped. Remember, it was like, oh, it stopped at 10. Yeah. So the aliens are figuring out they're going a different way.
That's what they said. They stopped. How cool is that? Like, just again, they are super smart. So you know what though? Predator was pretty smart too.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's it's cool to see aliens in a movie have some common sense instead of just attacking like crazy. Like Starship Troopers or something, where they're just attacking. Where here it's like they have the mind and creativity. I mean, listen, we have an alien that uses an elevator at the end of the movie. So I mean, these aliens are pretty creative. So it's cool to see that they have a mind.
And then before the great, one of the scariest scenes in the movie comes up. I think it is one of the scariest. So Newt is in this room, and Ripley goes, "I'll be in the next room over. Get some rest." And then, dude, when she goes back in there, and she's not in there, and they have that sense of panic with the music.
Yep.
Looks under the table. She's just scared. She's used to not sleeping in a bed, like sleeping in like a dark place.
Yep.
But dude,
no, I mean, again, not expecting this. The way it happens, and even seeing it a long time ago, I totally forgot. I mean, it was just this. I think this is the moment where the movie starts just going chaos. Because
dude, when they see it for the first time, when Ripley sees that, start crawling, and then when they're like knocking it around, she flips the bed and flips. Everything.
Well, it wasn't crawling; it went through the bed. The tentacles went through the bed.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I didn't know if that part happened then or after she had the water come down when she set off the sprinklers.
That's why she set it. No, that's why she set it off. So she was laying in bed with Newt, like they were just trying to get some sleep, and then she heard something. So she slowly looks above the bed. I guess it was like a bunk bed or something. So she looks above the bed, and then the thing jumps at her. She goes underneath the bed, and that's when the tentacles go through the mattress and trying to reach her, which was how creepy was that? I mean, that was like, yeah. Oh, that was
and how
cool.
good it looked. All of that.
Yeah.
Watching that thing fly in the ground, you can see movie magic the way that I'm not saying you could see the way they do it, but they don't stay on it for so long, which you can because it's practical. But it looks so good. But when she fights it off for a little bit,
and then it runs away,
bang on the glass,
and it runs away, dude. And then you have no idea where it is, and she's stuck in that room, and then you see Paul Reiser
and they're trying to get out,
and you see Paul Reiser looking at the screen.
Yes, and he's doing a little looking away from it, and then Newt's break the window, and I love that all that scariness that was happening in that room. When we go to the outside shot, it's dead silent.
Yeah.
Except the bang of the window. Dude.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, the tagline, I think in the first Alien is in space, no one can hear you scream.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, and this is literally they're screaming and you don't hear a sound. It was complete silence. But I do have a little problem with this scene because she throws a chair at it and it's it wiggles the glass. It doesn't even do anything. Yet somehow Hudson could fly through it, jump through it. Not Hudson. What's his name?
Oh, Hicks. Yeah.
Hicks. He could jump through.
Well, he was already shot at a couple times before that.
It was barely. I think they shot it once for him to give a little crack, and he dives through it as if it was glass everywhere. It almost looked like it was a plexiglass. It shouldn't have shattered. The way she was throwing, because literally the chair bounces off the window.
Yeah.
so it should have been
she's not as strong. She's a badass, but she's maybe not as strong. He threw his entire body. That was badass the way he did
it was, but it shattered like it was regular glass. And it wasn't.
He saw her struggling in there, when they were shoot it. Because that was at the point when the face grabber jumped in front of her. And then, dude, the fact that the thing not only can grab someone's face, is that it wraps around your neck.
That you know what, when that happens to because Ripley's fighting it off well, and you know what was cool? Every time the thing went at her, she always had her arm blocking it, because she knows it's going to go for her face. But then the one time the tentacles go around her neck and it starts choking her, and you feel that, you feel the air escaping her. The way they did it, because it's slow, you can see it slowly wrapping around it, and it was very cool how they did that.
Oh, dude! And then Newt sees one, and she pushes it a little bit, and it pins the leg perfectly.
Yeah.
So and the thing's just screeching.
Yeah.
I love the way Paxton kills that one when they finally break in. He's just shooting the thing like crazy, and then when Hicks finally they get the one off of Ripley's neck. And it's like, you guys ready? And it was like skeet shooting,
Yep.
like throwing it.
And they oh yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, dude.
Awesome.
So good.
It was.
That whole scene is just, god damn, dude. And then, yeah. So you get, so the next part, oh yeah. So then she goes, Burke did it.
But she does sound crazy the way she explained it. You know, like I think like Burks is like, listen, she sounds delusional right now. Like it was, I think he had a good argument for a little bit. Like they were unsure, you know, where to go. But then again, we talk about the creativity of these aliens. They cut the power.
Yes.
I mean, one, they knew where the power was to cut it, and they knew that was going to happen. Like these aliens are smart. Like I wish they had some kind of language because, like, you know, they don't really talk, but they clearly are communicating somehow.
Yeah.
So
maybe like telepathically.
Yeah, could be.
Maybe a little ESP. But no, the fact that she goes, he wants to get one of these xenomorphs back to Earth. So he was going to have me and Newt impregnated by the aliens. And then they're like, but we would be there. Hicks is like, we'd be there. We tell everybody what happened. And then what he would do is sabotage your pod so you didn't make it home.
How sick is that plan? And the fact that she figured it all out like that. I mean, up into the pods. Like,
and then Hudson's like, we should waste this sleaze ball right here, right now. But no, dude, that whole scene, and then again, you just feel how many chances would you get? And when you're in an end of the world scenario, not end of the world, but like your life on the line, like I don't know how long I would give a guy like that a chance.
No, why is he not cuffed? Like they should have restrained him somehow.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, after knowing all that, like, because obviously look what he does later on again. So, like,
yes.
Why did they not restrain him? That didn't make, because I thought they were going to, because he was sitting in that chair. So I thought they were going to tie him to that chair. And no, they just let him be free.
And not even later in the movie, like a minute later, because right after that, you mentioned the power gets cut.
Yep.
And then that's when Hudson is reading, like, hey, man, they're closing in. They're closing in. And they seal the door. And then they're like, 10 meters, 9 meters, 7 meters. Like, it's like they're in the room. Are they below us?
That was so
There's
cool.
something we must have missed. That's one of my favorite scenes ever in a movie. When they look up into the ceiling and you see them all crawling.
Well, the fact that, like, he like you said, he's saying that, like, you know, they're everywhere and they don't see anyone. Like, they don't see anything.
Yeah.
You know, so they had to figure it out. And, you know, listen, Hudson does whine the whole movie. He is a whiner. I mean, you know, so, you know.
That's his calling card. Paxton in a lot of movies, he nails that.
He plays the role great. He plays
True Lies. In True Lies, when he's talking to.
Oh, you're so funny in that movie.
Schwarzenegger, and he does that really high.
Well, it is Arnold.
Voice.
I mean, you know, Arnold will make anyone talk in a high voice.
Yeah.
But that was, I mean, just hearing, like, imagine being in that situation and, like, you know, you're getting surrounded, but you can't figure out where they're coming from. Like, talk about panic. You know, that's crazy.
And they're fighting off good. You see Newton tries to grab Ripley and go. And what happens? Burke locks the door to leave them. Dude, what a
He is really one of the sleaziest guys. I mean, he was basically going to impregnate a young girl and Ripley and kill the remaining people. And now he's like literally murdering them by locking them in there.
Yeah.
Like, and what was he expecting that was going to happen to him? You know, like he thought he was going to be safe in that one room.
I think maybe he thought the door was sealed, but he didn't think that maybe the door was open on the other side because there's an alien, there's a xenomorph in there waiting for him.
And you know what? I was disappointed in this scene only because they did they pulled the, you know, he's going to get killed and they pulled the camera away. So you don't see anything. Like he deserved it.
It's like I guess they should have, but it's like, it's like, you don't want to show too much. So it's almost like,
but he's the main villain. Right. So like, you know, like you need some satisfaction that he, you know, like just to know that he dies without seeing it. I think, like, listen, they showed Bishop, you know, I mean, you know, and he was a robot. You know, I feel
what
like
if they showed his body? What if they did something? The next scene they walk through and they just see like his
or
top.
I was going to say, or let him have the alien burst out of his stomach or something like that, since he wanted it to happen to them, or something like.
Yeah.
I just feel like being the main villain, he deserves to be seen, dying. That's all.
And Hudson goes out like a champ when he's like, "Motherfucker, you want some? You want some too?" And then the one that gets him comes out of the floor, almost on it's almost like it was a little pedestal that was coming up like a little elevator, and it pulls him down.
That, and you know what? That the way they killed each one was different. Like, it wasn't like the alien coming around and just like slicing them up. Like, each character died in a different way.
Yeah.
Which I think was very cool. Again, it shows their creativity. It wasn't just, aliens biting them and killing them. It was like each one was a creative kill.
Oh, dude. And the Vasquez one is great too, because you have these two people that were the ones that were survived. And then obviously for the story, they're there to protect, Ripley and Newt. And when they're all running, and you have Vasquez behind, just shooting.
Well, first of all,
she's
doing hand-to-hand combat with one of them.
That's her demise.
No. Before that, I think she starts punching and kicking one of them, fighting one, and then another one comes. The demise is the bomb.
Well, she blows herself up, but I'm saying just before that, she has one and she pins its face, and she shoots it, and the acid basically disintegrates her ankle, and she can't move.
Yeah.
But no, before that, she has whatever assault rifle she has. It goes out and she pulls out a handgun and is just popping a ton of.
This is see, that's what I meant. Like earlier, she was trying to show too much. Here, she didn't say anything, but she showed how tough she was by just not stop, pulling whatever weapon she had. And I thought her scene was awesome. It was just not again, the scene is going on and on with everybody. It's just out of control now.
Yeah.
And she was just so great in this scene.
And you get her and Gorman.
You know what?
And they just blow up so many.
Gorman redeemed himself. And it was cool.
He was shooting too.
And then it was cool as when he pulls out that detonator, and then she looks at it, she looks at him, and they both hold it together. That's pretty cool. I mean, listen, they're going out together, heroes. So that was awesome.
Yeah. No, and the fact that Paxton earlier mentioned that bomb and Newt even touched it, whoa, girl, the fact that what that bomb did, that thing was it was like to mention Men in Black. It was like the cricket gun. It was so small, and it did so much damage.
It really did. And I mean, at this point Ripley and who else? It was Newt, Ripley, and who was with them? Why do I keep
Bean?
Yeah.
Hicks.
I keep forgetting his name. So they were in that little control room when the bomb went off, right? And that's why Newt falls into the wheel.
Yes.
Okay. Which I thought you would get crushed. I mean, you would have thought that you would have gotten crushed, not just go down like an elevator. What?
Yeah, dude, you would think something really bad was happening. And then I was trying to mention it before, but to mention it now, this whole time, the person that's trying to save them is Bishop. He left. He went into the tiniest tunnel ever.
Oh, yeah.
And somehow he had to crawl I think it was I forgot what it was, 700 yards, in this tiny tunnel. And then he had to go to this thing, and then he radioed the ship that was far away to be able to come pick them up. So he's doing this all this time while they're.
Well, what's cool about that is when they said that they need someone to do this, and he volunteered, and then you get Hudson let him go. And then even Bishop said, I don't really want to go. He said
he said, I'm not human, and even I know this is stupid.
Yeah. So, I mean, he definitely shows emotion in this, in the role. Like I said, his role, he played the role so great. I mean, he really is the hero multiple times. It's going forward. I mean.
Yeah, he plays a great, if anybody can play a robotic, really non-human.
No,
he does it. It's so crazy.
Yeah. No, very
how
cool.
believable it is. So then we have Newt, dude, when she flies down that air shaft.
Oh, well, you feel like she's, Ripley's got her. So you don't expect that to happen. Ripley's, but was her jacket open the whole time?
I don't
know. How did it fall off? Ripley had her arm, and then it's literally, she slid right out of her jacket. That's how she fell.
No, I know.
That didn't make sense. Like,
Yeah,
I thought maybe like
open or not. I
the
didn't
jacket
think of that.
sleeve would rip, and then she has.
That's what I thought it did watching.
No,
I thought that happened.
It
but
was
I
the
guess
whole jacket. So it's like she shimmied her way out of the jacket and fell down. Yeah, that didn't make sense.
But when you see that Queen Alien
Oh,
come up behind her, that thing is just
that you know what? I mean, there's a few of these. Like there's like a few of these aliens just kind of rise from behind, and just so cool, so cool.
God, man.
Yeah,
It's so great.
Yeah.
And then this is where, at this point, they get her out, and then they just get to the elevator. And when they're getting ready to close the door, an alien's there. He uses a little shotgun that he kept earlier in the movie, shoots it, and it gets acid all over his chest.
No one else got acid on them.
Well, we saw, what's his name did?
No.
Vasquez is.
No, I'm
guy.
talking about in the elevator. It literally,
it
literally
perfect aim.
squirted all over the place. Yet Ripley and Newt were totally fine.
Luckily. Barely.
Just you know what? They just happen to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, literally, it's a small elevator. They all they should have had some kind of acid burn in their face or something.
Yeah.
Nothing. Just.
I know. I was totally wrong. Newt isn't with them. Newt is still down there, and it's just Ripley and Bean at this point. Because when they get up, she goes to
that's right.
Bishop. Bishop says we have 26 minutes to leave. She's like, "Oh, he's hurt. Get him on the ship. I gotta go."
Newt was taken hostage.
She was taken hostage.
So why were they taking her hostage?
Because she knew that this is like her mother. It was mother versus mother, sort of.
Well, it definitely was. But I wonder, did they take her? Did the alien take her so they can impregnate her, so they can have another alien come out?
Oh, I would think so. And maybe that's what they really want is to, because they did. If you remember when after Ripley does her Rambo and gets all the weapons and everything, she goes down there. When she finds her, she's placed into that
right.
wall. So I guess it takes time for them to spit the mucus on them,
or they know they wanted to lure Ripley there. So
maybe they want Ripley.
That's what I'm saying. After Ripley's the one that destroyed them in the first movie. She's kind of the one that's destroying everything now. So they're like, you know what? The only way to lure her here is let's kidnap the girl and we'll bring Ripley here.
Wait, so now you're saying they remember Ripley?
Why not?
From 57 years ago?
What?
I don't know.
But clearly she hasn't died yet, and she's been around these aliens this whole time, so they know that she's basically the one they need to get rid of.
The aliens have their smart history book, and they look in the book, and they're like, "Son of a bitch, that's Ellen Ripley from 57 years ago."
Listen, if they can have Alien V in the science books, they can easily have Ripley in history books. So. Again, it's history. It's 57 years ago. You're not going to tell me the aliens don't have history books?
No, that's what I mean. Yeah. They do. So they have their history book and their health book with the face grabber.
Let me tell you, I honestly, watching this scene, I felt slightly uncomfortable. I really you know what? You when you see the mother with all these eggs, I felt a little uncomfortable.
Ripley just starts flamethrowing.
I felt, and you see the alien, because the mother wasn't attacking yet. The mother was almost like she might have tried to negotiate. She didn't,
or maybe the mother was like, "Oh, hi, I found your daughter.
I saved her for you." Yeah. So literally, she was not attacking. She was just standing there, So
minding her business.
And Ripley just and you hear the pain in the mother alien when she was doing this.
Yeah.
So
she starts screeching.
Okay. Ripley's not a bad guy. The mother was not attacking, and she just killed her whole family. Even the father that turned around a corner, and Ripley turned around and blowtorched him. So seriously. And then again, seeing Ripley use the gun everywhere, blowing everything up, fire everywhere, running out of bullets. It was she destroyed, she murdered. Everything in there except the mother. Come on, your mother's not gonna be pissed. I think Ripley's the bad guy. I mean, without a doubt. Honestly, I'm not joking. I felt uncomfortable watching this. I'm like, I feel bad for this woman.
For this woman. This damn woman, she's just trying to protect her kids.
Listen, Ripley calls her a female name, derogatory name later. So, I mean, I call her a woman, and I feel bad. I really did. I'm like, you know what?
That's just how Ripley probably didn't even mean it in a terrible way. Or
Yeah, she
trying to be
did.
mean.
She was so angry.
That's a love name for her cat. She calls her cat stupid.
Oh, so you think she says these mean names out of love?
Friends call people names like that.
She would. I don't think she was friends with this mother alien. and it literally, and when we're not there yet, but when Ripley attacks the mother alien first. Again, maybe she was going up there and say, "Listen, let's just bygones be bygones. I killed your people. You killed my people. Let's just walk away." No, Ripley takes control again. So.
Well, not really. Wait. So you're telling me Ripley, to get to the scene, Ripley, they basically blow the whole place up.
Correct.
They go in an elevator. They just escape. The mother elevator takes the floor up to the right one.
Okay.
And when the whole floor is about to collapse,
we have
who pulls up?
We have to discuss that. So first of all, the fact
how'd she fit in the elevator? They're not that big.
They're not that big. I'm sure there's a weight limit. For an elevator. I mean, these things are pretty big. And the fact that push the button to go up to the right floor.
They shut the power off.
Okay. Whoa. Wait. So she did shut the power off, which we forgot about, yet the elevators work.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they run on backup generators or something.
Okay. So, all right. So the fact that they're using an elevator where the power is off, but this alien used the alien couldn't climb. It's an alien. He couldn't climb the thing. Like in a normal movie, the aliens would have climbed it in 2 seconds, right?
They climbed throughout this whole movie, so why wouldn't they do it now?
No, the alien. Well, maybe she's tired. maybe she just birthed all those eggs, and she's exhausted at this point. You don't know when those eggs came out.
Do you think it was like a hotel elevator underneath, like when she was watching Ripley go up? Doop doop. Oh, the 14th floor. Let me go in.
I just laughed. I mean, I forgot about it, and then I remembered that she does go in the elevator. I'm like, I totally forgot about it. It's just so stupid. It really is.
It would be even funnier if she went in the same elevator, because there was 3 door openings, and now if she went in the same one, that would mean that the one that Ripley and Newt took up would have to go down to pick her up. So that's even more time. But no, the fact that the whole place is blowing up. And Bishop arrives just in time to pick him up.
Okay, before Bishop even arrives, the amount of explosions and fire everywhere, you would think they would burn up. It wasn't
well, Ripley called it. She says, "Come in." When she saw the
I know that,
Green Alien, she held her.
But they were surrounded by so much flames. There's no way they that alone would have burned them up. I mean, it was it had to be hotter than hell in there.
Yeah.
So it looked like hell.
It did look like hell. But no, it's over. They fly away, you think? They zoom, they just make it out, and boom. Big explosion. You're like, they blew up the everything down there, the planet. Boom. We're all safe. Everything's fine.
Over.
I do love how the music changes almost kind of a positive kind of conclusion type music.
Of course.
And you see Ripley and she's he even says not bad for you. Oh no, that's the line at the end. I think I didn't say it yet. But he's like, oh, I think I did a good job. Or she's like, you did a great job.
You're watching this movie for the first time, huge explosion, mother alien dead, here's the ending. There's no way you're thinking what's going to happen.
Oh, dude, when the tail rips through his stomach
out of the blue,
you just see the white
out of the blue, and he literally coughs up so much white blood in this scene. It was like a gushing. It was out of just so much, and she tears him apart. Ridiculous. But when you see his top half, it looks like they made intestines for him. He had tons of intestines hanging there.
It's a synthetic. Maybe they make it so they have all the parts, but they're not real. So maybe there is intestines.
Yeah, but why would he? He does not eat.
Maybe they poop. They eat. Yes, they were eating. He was eating at the lunch table.
He was.
Yes, he had a plate in front of him. He wasn't eating nuts and bolts. He's not a robotic alien. He's like a synthetic alien.
You're assuming that most robots eat nuts and bolts?
Yeah. Nuts and bolts, screws, nails.
Okay.
Any type of metal they can get their hands on. But no, I wonder, obviously it wasn't Lance that did that stunt because they don't risk an actor. But dude, whoever that stuntman was, how high up he was getting put, like on this rig that obviously was safe, but it looked like he just kept going higher and higher and higher. Oh.
And just the special effects of it, I mean, was just so. I mean, again, for the time, it was an awesome scene. It really was.
Yeah.
And again,
ripped in half,
and he's thrown on the ground. You see his upper body. You see him still like spitting blood a little bit. You think that's the end of him. Like like he's done. Like he's
Yeah.
And now it's I mean, well, so yeah, go ahead.
No, go.
I was going to say, Ripley now goes in the suit, right? Is this point?
Well, at first, what she does is she tells Newt to run,
right.
And she says, "Over here,
right?
Not her." And then she runs away. She hits the door just in time, goes underneath. The alien's waiting outside the door, and then that's when she appears in the suit.
I don't know. I thought this little battle, hand-to-hand combat battle was a little.
I know, but how?
I know.
Yeah,
I mean, I know. I mean, you can't. Yeah, I mean, they needed some big finale, I guess, but mother versus mother. But yeah, I don't know. I guess there was no other way to do it.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty cool because the way the suit obviously did help her, but then it almost killed her in a way. It almost was the end of her.
That scene, I definitely have some questions, but.
What, that she was strong enough to hold the alien?
Not only strong enough to hold the alien, we're talking about they have a hand-to-hand combat. They're fighting back and forth. Yeah. Although I feel like the alien really doesn't do much in this battle.
No.
Really. I mean, like I was expecting the tail to maybe like pierce her or something. Like, Well,
she was trying to, but she kept moving her head like it was close.
All right. She's in a metal Tin Man thing. You're gonna tell me she's gonna be able to move that fast? I mean, the alien should have had one shot at least, like something, like piercing her a little bit. Like Ripley was untouched the whole time.
Well, the alien almost pulled out the multiple mouths, and that's when, for some reason, the thing has a blowtorch on it.
Yeah,
because she blowtorched her, and that was the one that was like the kill. Maybe that hit its eyes or hurt it something, because that's when the thing started backing away,
right?
And then that's when they both fell into the bay.
Well, you would think that would have crushed the alien. I mean, that thing had to be heavy. That's one thing. But she also moves way too smooth in that thing. Like, again, everything she did was like literally like a regular robot moving around this alien thing.
She's a pro.
Apparently.
She's level 2.
So, I mean, but yeah, I would have thought that alien would have been crushed. And I guess the audience is supposed to think that, and she's trying to climb her way out, and then the alien grabs her.
Ugh.
Okay. So the alien grabs her, and then she opens the hatch. The power of that gravity and the wind and everything, there's no way Ripley's holding on to that. There's no way.
Or a limb would get ripped off.
Or the way she was holding it, it would be ripped off. And we get past that point, there's no way she's climbing. There's no way. So, but yeah, I mean, I felt bad for the alien. Now is the alien just floating in space like forever?
Yes, look outside. You ever see a shooting star? That's an alien.
That's an alien. Okay.
That got killed by Ripley.
You know what? This poor mother did nothing wrong. Her whole family was destroyed, and now she's living in eternity floating around space. Ripley is the bad guy. And
then at the same time, when Newt starts to get sucked into the thing, and who saves the day? Half a bishop. He grabs her just in time. He has one arm holding the grate, like a flag, almost.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he's holding the grate. Yeah, and somehow manages to catch Newt before she flies out of there.
Yeah,
and again, I went back to this when Newt was taken the first time. Ripley and Hicks left. They were leaving. She went back for whatever reason. You said the motherly instinct, but she didn't go back for one other person. She's a villain. She makes very selfish choices throughout the whole movie. So,
But my favorite line
I know
is when he's
Bishop.
like, not bad for a human.
Yeah. Now, did they put him back together? Was that, or
No, he's not in the third one, but he should have been.
why not? You know why? Because Ripley probably left him there.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not wasting my time.
Ew.
That's gonna be too much work. I'm not wasting my time with him. Even though he saved the day and saved her and no. See, she's a bad guy. But was Hicks on the plane?
Yeah, he's on the plane.
No, is he in the third one? No. Okay.
The girl
is Newt.
They both have malfunctions and die.
Did they address it at least or no?
They do. They just said there was malfunctions in their pods. So maybe those were the ones that maybe Riser already messed the pods up.
That would be interesting. So wait, so you're telling me they died in their sleep? How long is she sleeping for this one?
I don't remember.
Okay. But
it's pretty far because it's like a futuristic prison.
Okay, so she goes in, she's getting ready for the pod, and immediately at the end of the movie, and again she's in her underwear.
Some guy and some scientist is giggling.
She's still falling for that? They're probably like, she's still falling for that?
And then the guys are looking at each other. Why do we just tell them to get naked? We should have thought of that. Oh man. So that was Aliens. One of Mount Rushmore of movie sequels, definitely that we've covered, and I think of all time. I'll go to my co-host. I think obviously this is the most he was like gushing, besides Vasquez and Ripley being the villain.
No, listen.
Other than that,
no, you know what? I still listen. You know what? Like I said, I like Vasquez. I love the way she fights. I just think they tried to force it to the audience, like the show.
I know.
So that was that.
Pulling your leg.
And even with Ripley, I like. You know what? I like looking at it at a different way where they really like the people. You know, and you see this sometimes in like I forget what movie it was. District 9 maybe, when like they were living amongst the aliens and everything. Like like we entered. If you look at it from that point, we literally just went to them. We bothered them. We take samples from them. So why wouldn't they be mad? Of course, if they didn't go to the colony, none of this would happen. Like, if they didn't put him near there, or they didn't. So like looking at it and the way Ripley just destroys, and again, the mother did not do anything at that point. She actually kept her alive, Newt alive, when she's killed her. They killed everybody else. So right there, like I don't know. I look at it as like, listen, you got to take a look at the alien point of view, and I feel like the aliens were the good guys in this movie.
Aliens are the good guys. No, of course you gotta see. Obviously,
I never seen the other ones except for the first one. The first one's awesome. Good story, but this one, again, for sequels, this is one of the top 10 best sequels of all time.
The action in this movie is
awesome. Like, I know it's considered a horror movie, but it's almost not. It's like
yeah. It's funny. That's the thing that like people argue about on like Twitter. Like when there's like horror, they're like, because it's not really labeled under horror. It's like the fourth category of it, but it's mostly like action sci-fi, which I agree.
It is, but but there is horror because there's a lot of jump scares. So it's like,
is Predator horror?
No, Predator's definitely not horror.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but Predator's not jump scares.
No, I don't think any an action movie can have jump scares.
No, not like this. I mean, come on. This is definitely you put this movie in the theater at like I said at darkness and it's more hard. I think it's like a.
Oh wait, our movie theaters lights are on in movie theaters nowadays?
They are. You never been to a movie theater with light on? How do you find your seat?
Doesn't sound like. They turn them off. Oh, you're talking about when you experience Aliens, it's dark the whole time.
Well, I got to tell you, when I saw Quiet Place in the theater, the original one, and let me tell you, that was the first movie. I mean, it's literally the quiet theater because the whole first half of the movie is the sign language. I've never been. Yeah. You could hear everybody breathe, snort, fart, literally, and it was quiet. Like so I wonder if they made a movie where like a sensory kind of movie where it is like complete darkness, but you're hearing everything. I think that would be a good sell. I mean, there might be points of lights coming on, but then parts where like you don't see a thing.
Yeah. It could be good.
Let's make it. I mean, the budget would be cheap.
Yeah. Don't have to pay anybody to be inside.
No, you just need the one guy, that has like the tin can and like the aluminum foil pans to make all the sound effects, and you're good.
Yes. So that was Aliens. Of course, I recommend it. Jamie recommends it, but so baseball's right around the corner. They finally figured out the CBA, and it's coming back next week, which is great. So the timing of our review, it's going to be a week late from opening day, but man, we're going to be covering another Major League 3, Back to the Minors, a movie that another staple for VHS of my early watching days. Scott Bakula, you had Dorn back, you had Dennis Haysbert, you had a lot of the original cast. Then you added like a guy like Jefferson Darcy. You have what's his name, who was the bad guy on Justified and a ton of other shows. He's in this. We saw him in The Next Karate Kid. That was like one of his first.
You know what? Let me tell you something. Before you even go further, I've never seen this movie, so
yes.
So number one, going from Aliens to this is now like but
it's for baseball. No, wait, you never saw the movie and you're making a sigh? You're prejudging.
No, I'm not, and I'll tell you why. Because you just told me who's back, but a lot of the main people that really make the movie are not back. So this reminds me of like it's going to be like Police Academy 7 when Gutenberg and Bobcat Goldthwait are not in the movie, but they bring back Hightower and what's his face with the guns. I can't. Tackleberry. So you bring back Hightower and Tackleberry to run the show when really they're the side characters. So that's basically what I have a feeling the Major League's going to be.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, I forgot to mention Rube Baker, the guy who can only throw to second base, thinking about Playboy. He's back too. But no, it's a fun movie. It's baseball. And I like all sports comedies. I think most of them are done well. I think this one's great because the actual story within the movie, I think is so clever. It's something that would never happen, but dude, it'd be so cool to see the big league club go against the best AAA team. Nobody would ever do it because if you lost, you'd be a laughing stock. But no, it's a fun concept of a movie. And so Jamie went out, got a guy from it. It was his first it's so cool when we talk to people. It's cinematographer, camera operator, Steadicam. Like he was one of the big Steadicam guys to teach people, even before he was able to use it on film. Charles Papert, man, and Charles had some cool stories. And this movie is a touchstone because his first studio movie, his first actual movie was American History X. But dude, just what he's worked on. And then now he's like this like go-to legendary like guy when it comes to comedy shows. They go to him. Garfunkel and Oates. He did Key and Peele like every episode. So we talked about the infamous Gremlins. Wait,
you said Garfunkel and Oates?
Yeah, you never saw Garfunkel and Oates, the comedian duo?
Oh, I thought you were combining Garfunkel and Hall & Oates.
Well, that's what they did. I didn't do it. They did it for their HBO series that Charles was a cinematographer for.
Wait, like Garfunkel and Hall & Oates? So that's really what it was?
The name of the show is called Garfunkel and Oates.
Yeah, but does it star Hall & Oates and Garfunkel?
No,
that's what I'm saying.
No.
I thought it was like it was a show with Garfunkel and Hall & Oates.
No. That's just the name of their comedy duo that they do. They do all these really funny, hilarious songs. Like their songs are like Tenacious D, Weird Al-esque. They're super like stripped down. They play like ukulele, so it's pretty cool. But no, now he's working on Kenan. But his stories are so cool over the years. The fact that he was like the Steadicam guy, like when Steadicam started in the 70s, he was the guy that was training people, but he couldn't get a job in Hollywood. And the way he got it was just so.
His resume is awesome.
So cool.
His resume is great.
Yeah, and he was a great guy. Fun to talk to. He had a great setup for podcasting, so it'll sound great. And so Major League 3, Back to the Minors, the next sequel, Charles Papert. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.